My name is Bob Stone. I'm the chair of the Underhill Selectboard. I'm going to call this meeting of April 11th, 2024 to order. It is 6 o'clock. There are three of us on the board present with two vacancies. Patty and Dan is joining us from remotely on the phone. Can you say hi, Dan?
Hello, I'm here from Athens.
Okay, so we have a quorum and we are able to conduct business. So thank you for that. So the first item, are there any adjustments to the agenda before we get into it? Do you have any adjustments?
We're gonna have an executive session to discuss the payroll or the warrants.
We can't,
Are we going to do that?
You'd have to, Dan would have to be a part of that.
I'd rather wait
Wait
until
till-
Dan comes stateside.
All right.
So the only quick thing I'd want to add is the Green Up Day, just a quick authorization for some money for the barbecue.
We'll add that at the end
Yes.
under member items and correspondence. The unit barbecue. Anything else? Dan, you got anything from Athens?
No, I don't. It's a great
Okay.
thing here.
All right, here we go. So the first item is the opening public comment. We have a couple people here at the town hall. Does anybody have a public comment? No? How about on the virtual end?
Nope.
I have a public comment.
Oh, okay, Peter.
My comment is related to Harvest Crossing project. The select board will undoubtedly approve this grant proposal and further expenditures in support of this unwise development project based on friendly relationships rather than reasoned assessment of the proposed project, its impact on the orderly development of Underhill Flats, an area of town that, other than a traffic triangle, has no public parks, paths, trails, recreation facilities. I speak as a former select board member who was present when representatives of the Harvest Crossing project first appeared before the select board and announced that they didn't have any experience developing real estate projects. Now, 4 years later, that's clear. In continuing to support this project with municipal resources, the town itself is undermining orderly planning and development of Underhill Flats. Absent our planning efforts to ensure adequate municipal resources such as parks and trails to provide residents and visitors with space that is necessary for effective, dense village development. There's no town forests or reserve land for municipal use in the flats, nor to my knowledge has there been any plan developed or official map created to lay out public facilities that are essential for orderly development of a designated village. Despite 2 recent flood buyouts, the town has failed to plan for the increased flooding that is anticipated in the area of the Harvest Crossing proposal. One need only read this week's 7 days to see how out of step this project is with current practice. Instead of supporting the town's purchase of the last remaining open parcel in Underhill Flats as open space and stormwater management area, the Harvest Crossing project proceeded to demonstrate all the things that we know not to do in attempting to create affordable housing: fight nature, subdivide, and pursue costly infrastructure and sprawling building types. Of course, this project has the veneer of goodness, and many people would like to think about it as a community effort led by volunteers and volunteer labor to help other neighbors into homes, transforming lives by creating homeowners and transforming the community with a spirit of self-help and helping hands, working heroically with a difficult site in a town center and proudly building quality homes, all while leveraging municipal resources to draw down state and federal funding. If I missed a glowing aspect of this project, I apologize. Here's another way to look at it. The Jacobs property, once extensive and offered to the town a mere 3 decades ago in totality, was reduced by repeated exurban and suburban subdivision to less than 9 acres of soggy land that would be even soggier if returned to its natural state. The area will be much wetter than it is today, an aspect of this site amplified by climate change and noted in the First Street Foundation's flood factor map. The project is measured now by how much effort and money is being expended on this greenfield site, instead of a consideration of the wisdom of this brute force approach to development on a site that clearly would rather be left alone. Ignoring indications that when nature reconnects Roaring Brook with its floodplain, this will cause even more expense. It's not like there aren't other parcels to work with. For example, the church's mostly empty parking lot, or any number of old buildings in the flats that would benefit from tear down and replacement with safe, modern, multifamily structures that are inherently lower cost and consume fewer resources. In committing to the extension of new roadways, the town would also further commit townspeople, whether privately or through public expense, to forever maintain yet more unaffordable infrastructure. Instead of pursuing heroic good-feeling project, it would be more cost-effective and productive to address the barriers and underlying problems to affordable housing in Underhill, and address the upset that has occurred in recent years to the town's critical area zoning strategy, which has been a victory of fashion over common sense and good judgment. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Your comments are part of the public record. Are there any other public comments virtually that would like to be made? Hearing, seeing none, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda.
Sandy,
Sandy, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to just let the select board know of some activity that is going on in town centered around local food and local farms. It started for Underhill with some of our town plan, which called for helping support local farmers. And with some of the work that Jericho has been doing, sort of this loose group that has joined between Underhill and Jericho is now forming what we're calling the Jericho Underhill Food Hub. And we have a support group which is trying to do more outreach so that people will know where the farms are and be more connected to the farms. And we have held one farm forum and we'll be doing another this Saturday to help hear what farmers need in terms of support and, kind of try to tie those local foods with some more community building activities. At this point, we aren't, connected officially with the town, but at some point there may be some opportunities to work a little bit more with the town itself. But I thought you should know that. I mentioned it at town meeting, but I think it's good to get that on the record and publicize so that all who want to can join the effort. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Sandy. Appreciate it. Your comments are part of the public record.
I just wanted to I saw somebody pop off. Dan, are you still with us?
I am still with you.
Okay, thank you.
Let us know if you leave. Just kidding.
I won't.
Okay.
I'm here, unless the phone goes out.
And I'm thankful for that. So if there aren't any other public comments, we can move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the follow-up to the Harvest Crossing public hearing that was held on the 5th of April, and consider authorizing a Vermont Community Development Program resolution for an implementation grant application for the Harvest Crossing Affordable Housing Initiative. So that's
I'd
up.
just like to clarify, so the hearing last Friday, which was warned 15 days prior, was to take public comment, kind of like what Peter expressed tonight. And also there was some confusion of the two processes here. So we're supporting the Harvest Crossing Initiative with a grant. It's a grant through the Community Development Program. The only way they can apply for this grant is through the town. The town is a pass-through. So the only way nonprofits like this can apply for this state and federal money that's already in existence, doesn't have anything to do with Underhill taxpayers, but a grant that's separately funded, is to go through the town. So the project will still have to go through full Development Review Board review. So it has acquired sketch plan acceptance, but that's not an approval. So there's two more steps. There's preliminary approval and final plat approval, final subdivision approval. So there's lots of times to look at this. This is by no means a rubber stamp. The Development Review Board is going to be thoroughly looking at this project, and if it meets our rules, then it should get approved. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify the differences in the hearings. The hearing had nothing to do with the development of the land. It was solely to get public comment on the grant.
Thank you for that clarification, Brad. Would you like to take any action on the resolution?
Yes, I'm going to put a motion on the table that we authorize the chair of the select board to sign the Vermont Community Development Program resolution for an implementation grant application for the Harvest Crossing Affordable Housing Initiative.
There is a motion on the table. Is there a second?
I'll second.
So there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Patty, you're the maker of the motion, so I think you get to go first.
Based on the public hearing that we had last week, and the understanding of the project, I think this is consistent with our town plan and increasing affordable housing, and support pursuing the grant for the program.
Any other discussion?
Yes, it seems like all of the work that went into the planning, as well as the analysis and the studies, it is consistent with the town plan, and I am in the affirmative for going forward for this project.
Okay. Ready for the question? Mm-hmm. All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed with a nay? The motion carries 3-0. So I will sign that at the conclusion of tonight's meeting. The next item on the agenda is the committee appointments. We have a couple, looks like.
We have one, unless you'd like to add Westcar here to the mix, but there was one. This is typically what we receive when a committee appointment is considered. Goes in the packet.
I think we should wait for the answer
Yeah.
to do the official recommendations to make it all nice and sweet. You get a preview of what to expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have Jeff Markowski. I have a recommendation letter from Brian from the Planning Commission, and I have a interest letter from Jeff, his resume, and that's it.
Okay, give me a second to find it here in the packet.
Yeah, it's If you get the bookmarks, it's on the.
PDF page 42.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks.
See you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
So I'll move that we appoint, is it Jeff Markowski?
Yes.
Am I pronouncing that properly? To the planning commission. Is there a second?
Second?
Any discussion? Are you ready for the question?
Mhm.
All those in favor of appointing Jeff to the planning commission, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. All right, the next appointment looks like it's going to be from,
No appointments.
oh,
It's,
that's it? It was just Jeff?
We're on to just Jeff.
All right, well then we're on to, we're picking up speed, Dan, don't worry. Adopt the 2024 local emergency management plan. That's in your packet. There's a couple slight changes to that. I don't know that we really need to take any action with that, just making everyone aware, or do we need?
The only thing I would state is, I spoke with Patty and she's willing to be the EOC coordinator,
Mhm.
who Dan was the last time. So we're trying to lessen Dan's duties. And if you're not opposed to that, Dan, Patty's willing to step into that role. Emergency director would be Bob. I would be the safety security officer. Sherry Warren's a call taker. And yeah, I would say it'd be appropriate to adopt
All right,
this.
so I move that we adopt the 2024 Town of Underhill Local Emergency Management Plan. Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion?
with those changes noted.
Yeah, and a couple of other just housekeeping note. I just need to check some numbers. This is due May 1st, so that's why we're getting it on
Okay.
now.
I think we need to update the
I support the
principal.
changes.
Okay.
The principal at the central school is no longer going to be Jennifer Cote.
Right.
So there's just a few little tweaks here and there, but overall it's the same cast of characters, just a couple different changes. Any other discussion? Ready for the question?
Mhm.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed with a nay. Motion carries 3-0. Can't tell you how cool this is that we can have somebody in Athens, Greece, participating here in little town Underhill. Next
It is said to be the birthplace of democracy.
Yeah, I think you're probably the first select board member to actually be able to say that you were attending a select board meeting from Greece. Pretty
That
cool.
probably is true.
That is very cool.
Authorize this fiscal year 25 grants and aid letter of intent. So I guess we'll authorize a motion to authorize the board to authorize Brad to sign the letter of intent to participate in the 2025 municipal roads grant and aid program would be appropriate. Is there a second?
Second,
Any discussion? Hearing none, are you ready for the question?
yes.
All those in favor of signing or authorizing Brad to sign the letter of intent, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. Next is review and consider a couple of tree removal quotes. We have one from Valancourt Tree Landscape Service. Russ is here. Do you want to kind of give us a brief overview of where the problem trees are and what we're up against and what your recommendation would be?
Absolutely. Welcome, Dan, from Greece. I agree, is pretty awesome as well. I hope you're having a nice time.
Thank you, Russ.
Yeah, we've got 4 locations throughout the town that have some hazard trees that need addressing. The first section of trees is on Stevensville Road, just prior to the intersection of Maple Leaf. There are a couple of very large maple trees on the right-hand side of the road that need to come down. They have been coming down piece by piece into the road. We've had some concerned residents about that have contacted the town, and couldn't agree more after looking at them that they are definitely hazard trees. As well as on the left-hand side of the road in front of John Doherty's home, there are some dead parts of trees, not the whole trees, but some dead portions that come over the road that need to be removed. The second location is at the intersection of Lower English Settlement Road and River Road towards the flats. There's some trees that are hanging over the road, a tree that is hanging over the road that needs to come down. And then there's one with a broken top that's hanging into some upper trees that need to be addressed. That's a smaller of the jobs. And then on Upper English Settlement, there is just prior to Phil Jacobs on the corner, there is a large pine that has come down onto some other trees leaning over the road. That if those other trees let go, that large pine will come down into Upper English Settlement. And then on Dottlin Road, the first house on the right, there is a extremely large tree, cottonwood or poplar tree. It's they're 2 in 1 from what I understand, but a very large tree that is split and really it's probably the worst one that we have in town that needs to be addressed. I have met with Don Toby. We did take a ride and looked at all these trees and got his approval. As well as on Stevensville Road, I'll say that there are 2 ash trees that are right there as well that Don said while we were there, he would like those to be down as well. Have spoken to the landowners, and they are all in agreement and happy. The large maples on Stevensville Road on the right-hand side are on kind of in a nice meadowy area, which will also include grinding of those stumps and getting the land back to looking nice, because it is a nice area up through there. So I did first met with On a Limb. Their proposal is $8,950. We would need to supply traffic control, and they expect probably a 2-day process to do these 4 locations. I met with DJ's Tree Service. They are $10,750. We do not need to supply traffic control, and they would supply 2 crews at the same time and would expect maybe half a day to 3/4 of a day to get these taken care of. After trying to get another tree company to at least to get 3 numbers, I did finally get a hold of Valancourt Tree, which was a little bit of a process. But finally did meet up with the gentleman who came out, very nice guy. Their quote is $7,200. I think there was an hourly rate, but not to exceed $7,200. It's been many years that the town has, since they've used Valancourt Tree Service. I think I found a proposal in the office that was back in 2000. That's where I got the information, and they're out of Pittsford, so that you may not see them around this area very much. But they are now owned by Davey Tree Company, so they are owned by a large tree company. My feeling, I know it's more money, but with the equipment that DJ's Tree Service has and the size of these trees and keeping the roads open as much as possible, I would like to see the
conference will now be.
Okay, what the hell's going on?
It's me. I'm gonna step away.
Yeah,
But I'll be
let's,
participating.
okay.
So go ahead, you're recommending DJs.
I'm recommending DJ's Tree Service for a couple reasons. Main reason is the equipment that they have to do the job where they can come in and be out of the way quickly and not having to block the roads for as long a time. And the fact of not having to supply 2 guys for traffic control as well. Again, I've never personally worked with Valancourt. They seem like very good people. And on a limb, we've had really good luck with those folks as well. But the size of these trees and that's my recommendation. We do have about $30,000 left in the tree cutting line in the budget. So there is enough money in the budget. But that is my recommendation, but obviously totally up to you folks.
So Davy Tree is a large nationwide company. They've been in existence a long time. Kind of like with Barrett, they got bought out by Save a Tree. So it seems like we've used Valancourt. Seems like even since I've been here, but maybe not.
The guys don't ever remember
Them coming.
and Scott's been there 13 years of using them. But again, the guy was very nice. Once I finally got him out here, it took several calls and to get them back to me, which wasn't my first, it took me 4 calls to get them.
They don't supply traffic control? So none of them do except for
DJs. DJs all set with traffic control.
Well, having had direct personal experience with DJ's tree trimming service, they're top notch. If we need it done quickly and we stress the cleanup aspect, hands down, phenomenal job. If they say it's going to take them a half a day to a day, it'll take a half day to a day. And everything will be swept and raked clean. They just do a really terrific job.
I'd just like to take if any of these are borderline on the right of way, but if you've dealt with all the landowners, you're saying?
Yeah.
Because we made a pact here that all 3 of us would review these. I saw the ones on Stevensville. I haven't seen the one on Dodlin. That may be off the road, or is that right on the road?
It's from me to Patty.
Is that on the left? Just as you
No,
go
it's on the right.
Okay. The only thing I will say is I'm impressed with, I like that they have photographs of all the trees. I found that to be, I'm like, there we go. We have existing conditions. They've even put the X's on there. I think that's in
They're
favor.
top notch.
Yeah.
Like I said.
If it's worth $3,000 extra, then.
Yeah, especially it's in a sensitive area in Stevensville where you had some other issues with tree trimming there. Let's do a nice job on it and do it right.
We've had the trees there are breaking and, get it.
No, I know they are.
Yeah, and they're just falling in the road.
I would call the question so we can let Dan go. It's getting to be 2:00 in the morning there now. He's
Do you want to
on
make
the
a
call.
Patty? Do you want to?
I have some input. First of all, I'm glad that folks, contacted Don Toby and made him a part of the process. That's an important element in anything we do with trees. So thank you for that. And I am wondering what the cost of the time it would take for traffic control on our part, just so that we can make that public as a part of the estimates as well, because that's money out of our pockets.
I can get a ballpark probably.
Well,
Yeah,
it's either the town road crew would do
Right.
traffic control, or you'd hire,
Which is if we hired ADA traffic control,
Right.
they're we just did $125, $150 an hour.
yeah.
So just if we used ADA, 150 times 8, that's $1,200 a day if it's for a full 8-hour day, which it may not be quite a full hour day, but there's $1,200 a day, and they're talking a day and a half to 2 days.
But the other
two
quotes.
two are about that time frame, which again, On a Limb has done a great job for us. And I enjoy working with those guys too, but I just think with the size of these trees,
Mhm.
just to, and safely and the, the time frame to get them down with the equipment that they have,
Mhm.
I just think it's a good idea. If we're off the beaten path, they're smaller trees, I feel better, or just trimming trees, it works out well. But I just think taking these size trees, you can see in the pictures, they're very large trees. That's my recommendation. So
Did
Dan, to
Valancourt
answer your,
say how? Did
I'm sorry,
Valancourt
Dan,
say
go
how
ahead.
long they would take?
Valancourt's thought the same as on a limb, day and a half to 2 days to do the work. And DJ's thought a half to 3/4 of a day. With 2 crews, they'd be coming in with 2 crews. One with their large Cenobogan, which if you're not familiar with, it's a large, like an excavator type machine that reaches up and grabs so they can take the tree down without using a bucket truck. They can reach up, grab, cut, bring it to the ground. Have all the chippers that take everything away. The other thing with the other 2 companies, Valancourt and On a Limb, they cannot chip and take care of those such large trees. So we would have to have the source of disposing of those larger trees that cannot be, which would go in the pit, which not really a cost, but
It's time.
takes up more of our area. Again, if they could chip everything, then that's one
So
thing.
DJs would put that on a quote that they'd have it done in a day.
If it's on their quote. That's just I don't know if it's on their quote or not, but that is what because they're coming in with 2 crews, and
Right.
what they can do with that machine versus having to go up and down with a bucket and then chip. And they have more people and more equipment, and hence why they're probably more money. But it's a teamwork of many people working together with multiple pieces of equipment to get those jobs done.
So I'll put a motion on the table that we accept the tree removal proposal from DJ's Tree Services, or a second.
Did we already do a motion?
I didn't hear it.
Second.
Is there any further discussion on the motion? If not, are you ready for the question?
Yes.
All those in favor of approving or accepting the proposal from DJ's Tree Service in the amount of $10,750, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. I think that's it. We have closing public comment period. Before we get into that, we wanted to add a little thing about Green Up Day and possible barbecue. Brad, you want to?
Yeah, so typically, because we're not going to be meeting until May 9th, Green Up Days before that, I just thought it'd be nice. Seems to be kind of a successful thing to have just some burgers and hot dogs, some chips and water for people bringing in their trash. I would also suggest that if Russ is up for it, that we dispose of the green bags maybe ourselves in the morning. If we can take a single axle truck, or maybe it won't even be that many, we can do it in the pickup to Casella to dispose of. They just need to know a plate number, but if you're up for that,
Sure.
and if those dumpsters are still there from the grader shed, you can also utilize those. But so anyway, I just want authorization to spend whatever we've spent in the past. It's not
a couple $100.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion that we authorize Brad to spend funds for Green Up Day commensurate with past practice.
There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? I'll second that. Dan will second that. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, are you ready for the question?
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. All right, let's move on to Nope, before we do that, closing, public comment. That was it for you, Brad, on the Green Up Day and barbecue. Is there any other, there's no one left here at the town hall. Is there anyone that has any closing public comment?
Nope, it's just us.
Okay, so we'll go on to, the next item is going to be the warrants and minutes. I move that we accept the warrant dated 4/1/2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. I move that we accept the warrant, payroll warrant dated 3/25/2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. I move that we accept the payroll warrant dated 4/8/2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. I move that we accept the warrants dated 4/3/2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. I move that we accept the warrant dated 4/1/2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Against? Nay? Motion carries 3-0. Next is the meeting minutes dated for the regular scheduled select board meeting dated Thursday, March 21st, 2024. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion or changes? Hearing none, are you ready for the question?
Mm-hmm.
All those in favor of accepting the select board meeting minutes for Thursday, March 21, 2024, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, nay.
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. Move that we accept the special select board meeting minutes dated Wednesday, March 27, 2024 at 5 o'clock. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Ready for the question? All those in favor of approving the meeting minutes for the special select board meeting dated Wednesday, March 27, 2024, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries 3-0. I'm not aware of any other warrants, minutes, or anything else. So we will move on to the next item is member items, correspondence, and announcements and schedule.
I just stuck a couple correspondence from Jennifer, animal control, in your packet. And as I stated earlier, since Dan's not getting back until the end of the month, our next regular scheduled meeting would be May 9th.
Okay.
However, if there is some business that needs to be tended to, maybe we may have to meet the week before that. So
All right.
we'll see.
Well, we'll keep trying to chug along.
Okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Wait, Can I say one, I just say one quick thing under this,
Okay.
please? Not to prolong it, Dan. Just on the record, I would just like to say, on behalf of the town of Underhill, thank them, these certain people that have helped out this winter, kind of behind the scenes. The French boys up in the valley, and Wade Bosley, Jed Hebert, who are always plowing out our turnarounds for us on their own, and plowing Proctor Road or just helping on Harvey Road, Wade and Jed up there. It's a great help to the road crew, and just like to have that on the record that they are very helpful for us during the winter. So hopefully winter's over. They don't need to do any more for us, but just want to thank them, and I will thank them somehow, a little gift or something for myself, but because it does help me a lot out there. So,
Yeah, thank you for acknowledging that and putting that on the record. It's a big help for the town.
it is.
Anything else?
Thank you
Dan,
for carrying on.
Any spectacular sights or stories you want to tell us real quick before we say goodbye?
Well, there's a lot of old stuff here.
Okay.
And the archaeology is fascinating.
Well, I can't wait to talk to you in more detail when you get back home.
We expect a 20-page book report.
Very good.
I'll settle for one. Motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
I don't think they need to be seconded. Well, Dan's going to second it anyway. So motion has been made, seconded. It's not debatable. All those in favor of adjournment, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries 3-0. We are adjourned. The time is now 6:41. You can stop the recording.